Happy New Year. Happy January 2nd. I wanted to come on today to talk to you about sugar and our addiction to sugar and some ways that you could stop that addiction possibly. We're going to kick sugar to the curb, and we're going to talk about what sugar does to your body, why we start and can't stop, and how to transform your sugar cravings so that you could kick the habit for good. So if you want to, you can introduce yourself in the comments and share your favorite sweet and how sugar makes you feel, what, like, you notice things that happen when you eat sugar, because I know we all have that weakness. So healthy food, a lot of people think is boring. Okay, we've been conditioned to think of it as bland, not fun, tastes like tree bark, pond scum. But somewhere we've developed this notion that you've got to suffer to get what you want, and that's not the case. This is a very limiting concept of what healthy eating can be. We're not going to talk about bland or boring foods. My goal is to introduce you to a whole new experience. We're going to try and tickle your taste buds with exciting new foods that are easy to prepare and actually good for you, and hopefully that you'll like. So how did I end up talking to you about sugar today? Let me tell you a little bit about my story. I was never one of those super skinny girls in school, but I wasn't overweight, even though back then, like especially in high school, I thought I was. Hey, Stacy. But I realized after looking back that when I was younger and my mom would pack our lunches, that the little brown bag was packed as full as it could get. And there was probably about 3 or 4 desserts or snacks or unhealthy foods. Like the sandwich was in there, and then it was like chips and cookies and all that stuff. So just coming to that realization within the last year, I can see where my bad eating habits years ago started from. So as I got older, I tried to maintain a healthy weight. And then I got married, I had 2 kids, gained 50 pounds with my first pregnancy, but didn't lose it all. And that old saying, you're eating for 2, is very deceiving because you're not really eating for 2, and then the extra weight stays on after you have the baby. So same with my second daughter. I gained another 50 pounds and still didn't lose it all. So as I was going through trying to lose weight, I was doing these healthy shakes, or I thought they were healthy, and they turned out to be soy shakes. And I have a thyroid problem now, and I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant, so that increased my risk for getting diabetes when I got older. So after I had my kids, I realized that certain foods I ate really bothered me. And it was like breads that turned to sugar, and also eating sugar. So I have slowly, over the years, gotten rid of sugar out of my diet. Not completely, like I'll have something here or there, but I don't eat it like I used to. And I'll eat a small piece of a candy bar, and that one small bite is so overly sweet now that I really can't eat it anymore. Whereas before I could eat multiple candy bars if I wanted to. So that's like my sugar background a little bit. For about 20 years, I've been reducing sugar from my diet. And then a few years ago, my husband got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and he had had it for about a year, but didn't know it. He didn't want to eat the healthy food that I had been cooking for him, and now he does. And now his A1C is lower. His medicine was cut in half. Sugar can sneak up and show up in food that we don't even know it's in. Okay, so I'm here to give you several different ways to help you with how to hopefully break that sugar habit. Okay, so You're in the right place if you're wondering why you crave sugar at certain times. You're done reinventing the wheel and you want someone to tell you what works and what doesn't, for real. You want to discover what is keeping you stuck so that you can get unstuck. And you're ready to finally get this sugar and food thing handled so that you can allow your best self to shine. So if this describes you, then you are exactly in the right place. In fact, if this is you, it's no accident that we're here together, because today I'm going to show you how to kick this sugar habit without giving up any sweetness so that you can experience a total transformation that gives you your best body, your best moods, and your best life ever. And we have a limited amount of time together, so I'm going to teach you as much as I can about our topic today, and then promise before we finish, I'll show you how you could take it further if you would like to. Okay, so there are 3 main challenges that all my clients and most people have when they go to kick sugar. Challenge number 1, wondering why the heck they have sugar cravings in the first place, and why those cravings feel out of control and what to do about it. So let's solve that mystery now, shall we? Let's talk about why sugar becomes a craving in the first place. I am going to add an attachment that I am about to talk about. So as I'm talking, I will add it, a link to it. If not, I'll add it after. The concept of the polarity of food. Okay, so this concept is pretty simple. It's based on the principles that everything has 2 polarities or two extremes. For example, hot and cold are extremes of the pole called temperature. Okay, in the same way that every apparent opposite, hard and soft, noisy and quiet, light and dark, good and bad, love and fear. When you find one thing, you'll also find the potential for its opposite. So to look at the world through the lens of polarity is to look at it in pairs, dark, light, night, day, yin, yang, etc. So how does this concept apply to food? First, we want to consider that food is more than simple fuel. Okay, it is energetic qualities that are beyond the science and mechanics of calories. That's my dog barking if you hear. So it's beyond the science and mechanics of calories, fat grams, nutrient values. For example, leafy greens grow upward, so they have a lifting energy, whereas root vegetables like a potato or a squash grow deep into the ground, so they have a grounding energy. So what does the polarity of food look like? Where does the inherent energetic quality of different foods fall on the spectrum? And how might this polarity in your food actually be creating your cravings? I'm going to try and attach the handout, so sorry guys. But I'm going to keep talking. So there is, and I don't have it here, on the right side of the paper, you will see one extreme of expansive bliss. Foods that represent this energy are represented in alcohol, caffeine, sugar, dairy, and to some extent, fruit, just a little bit. The energies of these foods make you feel light, relaxed, happy, blissful. Okay. When you eat too many of the bliss foods, you start to feel spacey, maybe even a little forgetful. These are the kinds of then on the other side, you have the contracted tension foods, okay? So these foods are contracting instead of expansive, so they contract. Examples of these would be salt, eggs, red meat. These are the kinds of foods that put meat on your bones. They make you feel grounded, focused, aggressive, but when you eat too many, you start to feel tight, agitated, and perhaps even angry. So that's all fine and good, but how do the 2 extremes of the polarity of food, the expansive bliss and the contracted tension, relate to sugar cravings? If life is a system of opposites and your body is always trying to balance itself, what do you think happens if you are having too many contracted foods like salt, meat, and eggs? What do you think your body might start craving to balance itself out? It will crave the opposite of contracted foods. It will crave sweet, expansive, bliss foods. So if you're eating too much salt, red meat, it's going to crave the lighter, sweeter types of foods. And that's where your craving comes in. Okay, so do you find that if you have something salty like potato chips, you crave something sweet afterwards? That's the challenge. If we have too many contracted foods, we'll crave the expansive foods and vice versa. Okay, so if you have too many expansive foods, you're going to crave the contracted foods. So what many people don't realize, and I didn't realize this myself either, is that we're oftentimes creating our cravings unknowingly. Okay, so you can even look at activities in your life through the lens of the polarity of expansive and contractive. There are things that happen in your life that are a little more contractive. They create more tension. And then there are things that are more expansive and they create more relaxation. Examples of contractive activities are running, working too much, partying, staying up late, stress. We're all familiar with stress, unfortunately. When you have too many contractive activities, you're going to crave more expansive food because you need relaxation. If you don't allow yourself to relax, then you'll find yourself binging on wine, chocolate, bread, desserts. Your body is begging for a break, like sleep, reading, meditation, walking, taking a bath. Okay, so it's trying to balance out. So if you don't give yourself a break, then you're going to be eating the wrong foods to help your body balance. Okay, so if you've been driving in really bad traffic, or if you have a toddler that was not in the best mood that day, or you had a really stressful day at work, what are you going to crave? Sweets or martini? Expansive foods. That craving in your body tries to balance itself out again. So when I'm working with clients to deconstruct their cravings, we look at not just the foods they're eating, but also their lifestyle. So challenge number 2 is kicking the sugar habit that no one wants to do because it feels so good to eat it, right? Nobody wants to give it up because it tastes too sweet and too good. So why does it feel so good to eat it? Let's take a quick look at what's happening in the body when you eat sugar and why we're experiencing that awesome sugar high. Products containing a lot of sugars usually don't contain lots of fiber, fat, or protein. Fiber, fat, and protein slow down sugar absorption. So when these nutrients aren't present, your blood sugar shoots up really fast, like the top of a roller coaster. And you know that if you eat just something that's full of sugar, all of a sudden you can feel it hit you. Now at the top of this roller coaster, your brain is alerted. Your brain uses about 50% of your blood sugar at any given time. So any drastic rise or fall in the blood sugar levels cause your brain to flip out. So when your blood sugar spikes up, your brain and your body aren't happy. So to your body, it's an emergency. Okay, it's not good for it. So what does your body do? Your pancreas secretes the hormone insulin to bring your blood sugar back down. Here's the problem. We have spent a lifetime eating a lot of high sugar processed foods. Like, hey, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and that was like the best food to eat back then. So insulin has gotten really used to doing its job too well. When insulin is sent out, it doesn't just bring your blood sugar back down into balance. There's often too much insulin secreted, and your blood sugar dips way down. And that's the blood sugar crash you feel after the sugar high. That shaky, spaced out, uncomfortable feeling. So you've had a blood sugar crash. Now, what does your body crave when you are down there in the middle of that nasty crash? More sugar. And what happens to our blood sugar when we eat the sugar again? It goes up and up and up, back to the top of that roller coaster. And so the up and down cycle continues. Has anyone experienced that before? How often does that happen to you, and how does it feel? This is one of the reasons we start eating sugar and we quite literally can't stop and crave it constantly. Feel free to leave a comment about if that happens to you, okay? Because your body is actually trying to find blood sugar balance. So the sugar craving is your body's way of saying it needs something specific to restore this balance. The easiest and most convenient food to restore blood sugar balance when your blood sugar is in the toilet is sugar. However, if we keep eating sugar, we will stay on that crazy craving roller coaster. And that roller coaster affects your mood, causes weight gain, and can lead to serious diseases like adult onset diabetes. Like my husband got diagnosed 3.5 years ago, and his was for portion control because we don't have sweets in the house. He does eat his ice cream, but he eats a lot smaller amount now. But yeah, it's portion control because it's not just sugary sweets that cause this. In fact, it's not really the sugary sweets. It's the sugar that's in grains and pasta that causes diabetes. It's that kind of carbs that turns to sugar. So overloading carbs is a sugar crash. After the hormone insulin is sent out to take excess sugar out of the bloodstream, it has 3 places it can take that sugar: your brain, your blood cells, and your muscles. Now, if all of those receptors are full because you've been eating a lot of sugar already, where does that excess sugar go? Right on your hips. That excess sugar is stored as fat. Now, here's another not so thrilling thing. When your body is producing insulin to bring you down from the sugar high, it can't produce what's called glucagon. And glucagon is very important because it's, especially if you're trying to shed the extra weight, because it's the hormone that takes fat out of storage to be burned. So if you're eating sugar, carbs included, not only are you probably storing some as fat, you also can't release fat to be burned because the sugar blocks glucagon production and fat burning. Kind of a bummer, isn't it? And here's something else I wanted you to consider. These days, many health-conscious people know their blood sugar levels go up and down on a sugar-induced high, but they don't realize the emotional roller coaster ride that accompanies this. We feel happy and energetic for a while, and then suddenly, unexplainably, we find ourselves arguing with our best friend or beating ourselves up in our own mind. Our moods are all over the place. And has anyone experienced this? I know I've seen it. Because yeah, that's not a good side effect. All right, let's look at challenge number 3. The third and final challenge with sugar that I experienced myself and I notice with my clients is that when you're not happy with an area of your life, like your career, relationships, finances, your workouts, where you live, the winter weather, it's sometimes so much easier to reach for sugar than deal with what's really going on. I totally get that. Who doesn't have a bad day and they just want to like reach for the candy bar? And a craving may seem like it's a pain in the rear, but what if cravings are a messenger to help you step into the best version of who you are? That would be pretty amazing. So I know you didn't listen to this just to hear problems about sugar. You're here for solutions. So let's look at how we can get started on kicking sugar without starving or giving up sweetness, even if you've never done it before. So you won't have to write these down because I will attach this handout at the end. It's the 7 solutions to sugar cravings. Okay, so you can just listen and take these in, and then you'll know that you'll have it all written down for you when I post it. All right. So 1, check your beverages. Sounds crazy, but sometimes sweet cravings are a sign of dehydration. So drink a glass of water, wait 5 minutes, and then see if you are still craving. Also, too much caffeine mimics a blood sugar crash. You're high for a bit, but then you're coming crashing down and crave sugar, of course. Okay, so watch the caffeine. Number 2, satisfy your sweet tooth with sweet veggies, fruits, and spices. Your tongue has a sweet taste buds section on it that demand to be satisfied. So don't hold out. Add naturally sweet foods and spices to your diet like squash, yams, carrots, beets, berries, figs, apples, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. All those extra spices counteract that craving for sugar. Okay, sleep, number 3. For many of us, this is easier said than done, but if you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, usually in the form of sugar or caffeine. I notice that if I need to get like 8 hours of sleep every night, but sometimes if I don't, I am hungry all day long when I don't get enough sleep. And my body is constantly trying to get that energy in from the lack of sleep. And if you eat the wrong thing, it's just gonna make your health and your energy worse. So power down an hour earlier than usual, and you'll notice that your cravings will disappear. Number 4, check your protein. This is a fun, cool fact. Watch how much protein and what kind of protein you're eating, especially animal protein. Eating too little animal protein can lead to massive sweet cravings. Eating too much animal protein can lead to sweet cravings. When I work with clients, we find just the right sweet spot for the protein intake so they feel satisfied. I have been eating a vegan diet for probably 9 months now, probably about an 80 to 90%. I'll eat meat once or twice a week. For only one meal though, not every day, all day. And I didn't notice any difference in cravings not eating that much animal protein, but everybody's different. So just notice if you change your diet, what happens with the protein. Okay, number 5, sniff out low fat and fat-free foods. When food manufacturers take the fat out of foods, what do they put in? Sugar. I'll be covering that on another live, so stay tuned. Number 6, move yourself. Movement is another kind of food for your body. It releases stress, makes you feel great, and look great. So any exercise, even just walking. When you don't get enough, the body starts to look for other ways to blow off steam, like binging on Snickers bars. Number 7, create new post-meal rituals. If you're a dessert after your meal person, one of the things that you might love about this is the ritual. Okay, so what are other possibilities for post-meal rituals? I grew up with, my mom was always, dinner wasn't even like put away yet and it was dessert time. And even I don't do that at my house, but when we go visit her and it's like, let the meal settle. You may not need something sweet. Okay, so that's a hard habit to break. And but I grew up with that exact habit, but I stopped it. So it is possible to stop. All right, so some of you are gonna want to take this further and deeper. And as promised, I'd like to share with you how you can do that. So who here feels 100% confident they can walk away from this live and kick sugar once and for all? Okay, sometimes it's hard. I've done it on my own a few times, and when you're all alone, it can be hard because you don't have that support. You feel like nobody else is trying to remove the sugar so that it's not in front of your face. Okay, so having that support is very important. Okay, so we've actually left out 3 key ingredients that puts all of this together. And without these ingredients, we stay in the same patterns and repeat the same old behaviors that keep us stuck. Some of us do really well for a while, like New Year's. People start their New Year's resolutions. I make intentions, not resolutions. And then by the 14th of January, most people have broken them, which feels like complete failure, but you didn't fail. You just need to set up better goals and intentions. Okay, so we get some new information, renew our commitment to follow through, take consistent action for a week or 2. We convince ourselves that this is going to be different, and then what happens? Our motivation fizzles out and we fall off track. So how many people know what to do but don't always do it, which is most of us? That's because knowing isn't enough. It's not what motivates us to take action. We are suffering from a high-fact diet. We all know the information, but we're not putting it into practice. Okay, the 3 ingredients that bring us this all together is the right system, support, and accountability. Okay, we've got information. We don't need more information. What we do need is to make this time different, someone to encourage our progress, and someone to kick us in the butt when we make poor choices, which is what I do as a coach. I'm here to hold you accountable, offer you support, and walk you through my system. Okay, so I have a free clean eating clarity call that if you're interested in, that we could talk and look at what your cravings mean, why you're stuck, how to get unstuck, what your plan of action is to experience a total transformation. And I guarantee that you will walk away with at least one major aha about how to break out of the rut and get into action. So I'll be posting the link to schedule a call in the comments, okay? But what makes this program unique is that we focus on what you get to have rather than what you don't. Suffering to heal doesn't make sense. When I work with the client, I want to inspire you to reclaim your health in a way that is sustainable, natural, and fun. I give you clarity, efficiency so it doesn't break the bank, and how to integrate it into your lifestyle easily, where people won't even notice that you made changes in your family. Okay, so my clients tell me I'm a cheerleader, I'm part tough love coach, I do offer support and accountability, 2 ingredients proven to make all the difference in the world to help people make lasting changes. That's support and accountability, okay? So don't forget, if you want to book that call, I will put the link in the comments, okay? And it's free. I normally charge $97, but it's free for anyone who's on this live. And if you want to get clear on how to break your sugar addiction, I can help you, okay? So I also will be posting another handout. It's going to be titled Invitation, where if you want to get more information, there's a spot where if the link for my call for you to, you can copy and paste that link if you want to. And then if you want to get free recipes, I have a set of 10 recipes to help you eat clean. Okay, so you can send me a PM or comment on this video and I will send that to you. Okay, so those are also available. All right, so you're going to have 3 handouts that I'm going to attach as soon as we're done here. The third one I didn't even go over. It's for you, the 7 solutions to sugar cravings. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was useful for you. As you can see, sugar has more control over your body than you realize, and that there's more to your sugar cravings than just you trying to control that you can't eat a candy bar, okay? So there's that polarity and the balance. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I'm gonna post everything, all the handouts up there, and I will see you soon. Bye.